There's a wealth of knowledge. There's a wealth of finances, as I just mentioned. Money is in Africa. People have real assets. People have land. They produce stuff on their land.
This Black British is sharing her shocking experiences that she has had living in Ghana. And also Michael J. White, if you've watched The Bone, Michael J. White, he came to Ghana some time ago and he's also sharing how he felt when he came to Ghana. Let's go into the videos, watch, come back and talk.
I've been to several countries in Africa and felt like, I was in, I went to Congo, I went to Djibouti, Rwanda, Nairobi, Kenya, South Africa. I was been in a lot of those places. Well, when I'm in Eritrea and place like that, I stick out like a sore thumb. Or do they really feel like we're connected? But until I went to Ghana, in Benin and places like that, everything changed. Like what happened was I found out, I got roots in Ghana. That's my lineage. But I'm not one of those people who just like is going to get on the bandwagon. I'm back in Mother Africa and all this kind of stuff. But one thing that occurred to me, for me, I can only speak for me. But when I went back and the way I felt, man, I wish this for anybody Black living in this country. I think you free yourself and you see yourself in a different way when even if you say, which I think the right answer is, when somebody says, where are you from? And you go, I actually don't know where my historical African roots are, but my great-grandfather was from North Carolina or whatever. That frees you to know that there's more to your story. Mm. But when I went back there, it felt different from every place else because I felt like, oh shoot, when I landed in Ghana and I looked around, I'm like, these look exactly like American Black people right now. And to know that we weren't slaves, man. We were absolutely talented farmers and technical people, like, because that was the industry in Africa. You had to know how to farm. They kidnapped successful working people. I'm not that guy because there's not something in me that feels like something's missing and I got to put that in there. Till I realized and I went there, I can never look at myself the same. And oh my goodness, like I said, I wish that for everybody to find out.
So let's talk about cultural customs when it comes to communication. So Ghanaians are super duper polite. Please is used in a way that I have never experienced before. But one thing that also shocked me was no. No it's not always said. It's not always something that is communicated, something that you're supposed to assume, I guess. For example, rather than saying, no, I can't do this, or no, this is not part of my contract, etc., people will just say, well, we'll see, or maybe, or they'll just delay answering altogether. And for me, sometimes it's hard to understand. So number 2, the noise. So I came from a big city, right? I lived in London and now I'm in Accra. So this point is specific to Accra. I just didn't know how loud it would be. Everything is noisy. Even just the sound of the everyday life on your own street. The noise level in Accra is just not to be. It's shocking. The noise level is disturbing me from making this video. It's a lot to deal with. So number 3, domestic help. So it's normal for everyday people to have maids or to have help in their house, like nannies or something. And you don't have to be rich to have it. It's just a cultural norm. It's a way to provide jobs for people, and it's a way to provide value for someone. Working people need nannies if they have children, right? And it's normal here. Number 4, everyone watches what you're doing. So there's no secrets in Ghana. And from my experience, I would just say it's Africa overall. You're going to be watched. and you're going to be stared at, and it's going to be blatant. But it's just something to get used to, and
What is this?
I'm getting used to it now. So yeah, people stare openly. Privacy and personal space are completely foreign concepts here, or it's experienced in a different way. Number 5, another one specific to Accra, the pollution level. Oof, this is a big one. The air quality is not the best. This really shocked me. The amount of pollution when you're in the city is crazy. The cars, you can see toxic fumes coming from the black smoke, the fog, because a lot of the cars unfortunately are old and need to be serviced. People burn trash and stuff, so there's a lot of fumes in the air. And also because not all of the streets are paved, a lot of the residential areas, when cars are driving, a lot of dust is created. So the air quality in Accra specifically isn't the greatest. So, number 5, I guess, assumptions about foreigners, or assumptions about people like me. First and foremost, I must have said it on a previous video, but being Black British is just a foreign concept. Here, I'm seen as African American, or sometimes Jamaican, which I am, but if there's no concept of Black British, what is the concept of Black British Jamaican? It's just not seen. But the main part of the perceptions on foreigners is that we are rich, right? And it's a lot to get used to always having that expectation on a daily basis to pay extra for stuff or to be given tips and stuff, and it's a lot, right? But at the end of the day, coming from everyday people in a community like the one that I'm living in, I've come over on a plane, so I have to acknowledge that there's an element of privilege that might be perceived. Yeah, I don't want to go too deep. I would just say that I'm using it as a good thing, flipping the script and allowing myself to feel rich because the people around me perceive me to be that. So, hey, why not be that? So, number 6, I believe we're at number 6. This is all about independence. In Ghana, community is everything. But coming from the UK, I didn't even know my neighbors' names. And here, people want to be in communication. They want to be connected to you. And if you're too private, too independent, it might be perceived as snobbish or rude. And that's a lot to get used to, especially for me being an introverted person. I work a lot also, so when I'm at home, when I'm not even working from home, I just want to sleep, I want to chill, I want to hibernate in my space. But here, I've seen how it affects relationships. Hermit mode is not for Ghana. Number 7, slow down. No one's in a hurry but you. No one is in a hurry. Slow down. That's something that I really had to get used to. Just the pace of life is different here. In London, the rat race is normal, but in Ghana, it's not. So slow down, take your time, and just breathe. It's never that deep. It's not that deep. Number 8. So this one would be about the reserved nature of people. Although people want to commune and they want to get to know you, a lot of people are quite shy. You might get into a taxi and they might not even say one word to you. People don't always say hello to you on the street. They get going, and someone being like me with a Jamaican background, I'm used to, Wagwan, what's going on? Hey, miss, fatty. Like, I'm used to people being loud and over communicative. And here, everyone is kind of keep themselves to themselves. It's a strange one. People commune, but the communing is different to what I'm used to. So this one is about the importance of status and hierarchy. So here in Ghana, status matters. If you're a doctor and you worked hard for that qualification, you're going to be called doctor. There's no Mr. Kwame, it's Dr. Kwame. Sorry, it's just a name that came to my head. But also simple things like calling people ma'am, madame, auntie, uncle. The auntie one really shocked me. Having people in their mid to late 20s calling me auntie that are strangers is like, what is this? But I've even had a 60-year-old call me it. It's really something to get used to. And I guess it's just a way of being polite, right? Mum is another one. Wow. And then finally, number 10, I would say the amount of wealth that is here. Wealth in so many different forms. But let's talk about financial wealth first and foremost. Here in Ghana, I've seen the most exclusive luxury cars that I've ever seen in person. And that's just been by going through normal residential areas in Accra. It's shocking because in the West, we are sold this image of Africa as being poor and being degraded and nothing is going on here. But there's so much wealth here. There's a wealth of knowledge. There's a wealth of finances, as I just mentioned. Money is in Africa. People have real assets. People have land. They produce stuff on their land. And when people have money, they have money. It is not credit. They got cash. Cash is king. And people have it here. But it shocks me because sometimes when you see the state of the country, some of the roads that I go on and I see these massive, beautiful mansions and the road is all mashed up and crazy, it's shocking to me. Even where I live, it's a lot to get your head around. But people are rich here.
Yeah, see, the truth is, when you step your foot on this land called Ghana, it's a totally different feeling. Because, as he said, he has actually visited some African countries. But the moment he came to Ghana, the feeling was totally different. And I'm not surprised. I think when he did his DNA, ancestral DNA, he was a Ghanaian. So, for me, I feel like, Charlie, yes, that's why it's very necessary for African Americans or Black Americans in the US should at least try and visit to see. Just make that trip, and just come and see whether actually you are connected to this place or not. I feel like some of these things are spiritual, and if you make that trip, that's when you get to know and also get to understand. Yeah. And this Black British that is sharing her culture shocks. See, she said Ghanaians don't know how to say no. This thing, it is very true. The average Ghanaian feels like if you ask them to do something and maybe they cannot do it or whatever, for them to just tell you no, they feel like they are kind of making it look like they are not capable of doing anything. You understand? And also in certain situations, they feel like telling you no feels too rude. Yes, they feel it is too rude to say no to somebody just like that. You understand? Even if they add the please, they feel like, yeah, they are being too rude. That's why a lot of Ghanaians, it will be very difficult for them to say no to you. Basically that's actually the whole thing. Nothing more like that. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching.